Hey everyone, it is Thursday, May 25th. The time right now is 4:22 p.m. and the temperature outside is around 14 degrees Celsius. And I'm here at St Clair subway station. And for some reason, I'm making my way up to the streetcar platform. Where there is a 512 streetcar that will be pulling away in 7 minutes, according to that sign. And the station opened back in 1954. And for this one, I'll be heading up to the intersection of Yonge and St Clair and walking west along St Clair Avenue West over past St Clair West Station, which opened in 1978. I was hoping to catch a streetcar going through the loop here. And there is a McD's attached to this station. And I think this one should be a little over 2 kilometers or so. So this is St Clair Avenue, or rather St Clair Avenue East to be specific. It is one of 2 stretches of St Clair Avenue East. St Clair is essentially divided into 2, and this would be the western stretch of St Clair. And this stretch runs for about 10 kilometers. It starts off in that direction, just past Mount Pleasant Road, and it runs for about 10 kilometers west, and it stops just short of Etobicoke, one of the city's former boroughs. And the other section to the east of here is about 7 kilometers in length, and that runs from the Don Valley to Kingston Road.
That's great. That's great.
And there's a look to the south. Down Yonge Street. I can see the lighting might be a bit of a challenge on this one, as once again I am walking directly into the sun. And this here, Shenanigans, used to be a pub called Scallywags that was quite popular. It's up there on the 3rd floor. And unfortunately, St Clair doesn't have dedicated bike lanes, but it does have a dedicated right-of-way streetcar line. There's a 512 streetcar, and that is heading into St Clair Station, which is the western terminus, or rather eastern terminus of the line. It terminates to the west in the Stockyards district, just on the northern end of the junction. Look at this, there's plans to wedge a 50-story building on this lot. There's kind of a famous and somewhat controversial sculpture coming up. A 25-foot tall statue of a man holding a condo. And this used to be a sports pub, but I don't think it survived the pandemic. Let's hop in the shade for a minute. So this is the Deer Park neighborhood. That's a fairly affluent neighborhood. And it runs to Avenue Road straight ahead. And then past Avenue Road on the south side, which is to my left, will be the South Hill neighborhood. And on the north side will be the very affluent Forest Hill. And that building there is a lot like the one where Glenn Gould, a famous Canadian pianist, grew up and spent most of his life. I'll be walking past that one pretty soon. Actually has a don't walk sign. .95 St Clair West, a sales office for a condo. I don't know where that one's going up. This is the Desjardins building. There's a credit union there. It's also an insurance company, and I think they own State Farm. But here's that 25-foot tall sculpture of a man cradling a condo. And it's part of this complex here, the old Imperial Oil Building, which has been converted, I believe, into a luxury residence. And the developer actually commissioned this. It was a requirement of the city to include some artwork on the property. It was done by a German artist named Stefan Balkenhol, Balkenhol. It inspired a lot of debate on social media. And right across the street is the apartment where Glenn Gould, the famed Canadian pianist, spent most of his life. And there's a plaque in front of it commemorating him. And he died in 1982 at the age of 50. Just as he was beginning a new phase in his career. He was starting to be a conductor. And there's a statue of him in front of the CBC headquarters down on Front Street West. There's a plaque for the Imperial Oil Building. which dates back to 1957. Now houses a Longo supermarket and LCBO liquor store. I almost said grocery store. It looks like there still might be offices in this front area. I know there's a condo behind it. It's definitely got a 50s inspired design. And there's some neat pictures of it being constructed here. There's another one, but there's a lady with her dog in front of it. I don't really feel like walking right up to her and sticking my camera in her face. There goes another 512 St Clair streetcar. Now I'll talk a little bit about that dedicated right away in a moment. Let's just get to the other side of Avenue Road first. And on that corner there is the Korean consulate. So back in 2007 when I packed up and moved to Korea, I had to go do an in-person interview there. And this is Avenue Road. So this will take you south down into downtown if you turn left. And it splits the Yorkville and Annex neighborhoods. There's the Ontario Ministry of the Environment on the left. And that park across the street is called Amsterdam Square. I never actually realized that. You know, I've been there several times.
Are you getting there?
So the area left of here is South Hill, and to the right will be Forest Hill. Both of which are quite affluent, but Forest Hill the more famous of the two. Looks like that officer is just waiting for things to be clear. First Unitarian congregation. There's a sign there saying they're building a new home and they've temporarily relocated. And these condos here are quite expensive. I don't think you can get a unit in there for under $1 million. Looks like there'll be some developments coming up on this side. There we go. A 15-story, 206 residence tower is planned. So this streetcar dedicated right away came to be in 2009. I think they started construction in 2006. So St. Clair was quite the disaster for a while. Although St. Clair's actually had streetcars dating back to 1913. And this is Poplar Plains, which is a nasty street to try to ride your bike up. There's a rather steep hill to climb. But when they planned this dedicated right away, they didn't plan for the new streetcars, which started to roll out into the network in 2014. So these platforms were built for the older ones. And they had to be extended, unfortunately, so a bit of poor planning on the TTC and City's part. They accommodate the new Flexicity, I think it's the Flexity streetcar. The first line those were fully implemented on was the Spadina line, which also has a dedicated right of way, as does Queens Quay down on the harbourfront. And that streetcar will soon be heading underground as it dives into St Clair West Station. There's the Aerosmith School. Strengthen your brain, be at your best. Also, it's not a school of rock. Medical building. Further to the west of here, once you get west past Bathurst, for a very long stretch all the way through the stockyard. St Clair is mostly a retail line street. It's kind of a hodgepodge for this section. Mostly just low and mid-rise apartment buildings and the odd church. One of the good things when they dug up St Clair to install this dedicated streetcar right away, they took the opportunity to preemptively replace the water mains. And they also buried all the utility cable or utility poles and cables. That is a common complaint with visitors to Toronto or people that watch my videos. They say, why does Toronto have all these utility poles all around? Well, the reason for that is they wait for a major opportunity to actually bury them. It's quite an expensive and time-consuming undertaking. So they wait until there's another project that it would be appropriate to do so. And that's often when they'll get buried. This here is Russell Hill Road, and that is a fantastic bike lane to take down to DuPont Street. Then you're just a block and a half or so away from St. George. And Sir Winston Churchill Park is coming up on the left. Not to be confused with the provincial park of the same name in Alberta. I'll just head up through here.
That was yesterday.
And you can see the CN Tower way off in the distance. And the Nordheimer Ravine cuts underneath the park. over there in the southwest direction. You'll also find Casa Loma just over there. I really like that white apartment building straight ahead. It's got a very 60s vibe to it. There's someone using a laptop in broad daylight with the sun bearing down. I hope their screen is at least 500 nits. Otherwise they're going to be having a pretty bad time. And you can see the tip of Casa Loma there, which is just to the south down Spadina Road, and kind of the upper half of some of the financial district skyscrapers. And to the south of here, Spadina Road becomes Spadina Avenue, south of Bloor. At one point there was a proposed expressway that was going to cut through here. That was proposed in the 60s. Fortunately, that was stomped out. That's currently the Allen Road, which ends at Eglinton to the north of here. Perhaps I overdressed. I've got a backpack with me. I think I'm going to take this sweater off as soon as I wrap this up. I'm probably going to record a live stream, but it is feeling pretty hot. There goes the streetcar diving down into St Clair West Station, which, as I mentioned, I think opened back in '78. There's that one of the buildings I really like, rather the top of it. And back when I was a kid growing up, my grandparents lived in an apartment just over there, and I could see that building clearly from it. I lived up on the 14th floor, well, really the 13th, but you couldn't convince my grandmother it was the 13th. She swore it was the 14th. And I could see the skyline from there. I was up on Chichester Road. So I think what I'll do is I'll carry on until we get to Bathurst Street. There's a 512 climbing out of the station. And that's the Nordheimer ravine on the left. There's a Loblaws supermarket, the Forest Hill Loblaws, and just north of here is the Cedarvale Ravine, and that goes up pretty much to Eglinton. It's a few blocks south, and really the Nordheimer Ravine here is just a continuation of that ravine. With some man-made development cutting it off. Can you say that anymore? Human-made development? Well, I'm not very PC. I'll stick to man-made. And you can head down into the ravine right here. I've never taken that entrance. Well, maybe I'll head that way on my live stream. That might be kind of neat. There's a little bicycle maintenance station here in front of the subway entrance. And this even has a gauge to check your tire pressure. That's awesome. That's extremely useful. Hopefully no one vandalizes it. Most of the station is over on the north side of St Clair. There's a look down into the ravine. That's Wells Hill Park. And a Joe Fresh, a store I have only ever shopped at once. And that was because I needed some long underwear. And it's St. Mike's. An all-boys Catholic school that's quite renowned. It's renowned for its sports programs, particularly hockey, and I think it was home to an OHL team at some point. I don't know if that's still the case. I'm not really up to speed on minor league hockey. And this surrounding neighborhood is known as the Witchwood Heights. And this is Bathurst and St Clair coming up, and I'm pretty sure I'll be back doing a walk along this stretch of St Clair. It's been a while since I've been here. I think I did a live stream very early on in the year. I've also done a few live streams that went south. At Bathurst here. There's actually some funky artwork just to the south of here. I think I'll go there and finish up. And when I first moved back to Canada from Korea in early 2014, I think right at the end of 2013 actually, I moved to a house on Humewood Avenue. I rented a basement apartment. I was there for about 8-9 months. And I wiggled out of my lease and moved to my current spot at Yonge and Eglinton. All right, the light's gonna change in 20 seconds.
Oh, again.
How's it going?
How you doing, man?
Good, you?
Doing a live stream?
Just a regular video. I'm gonna stream in like 10 minutes, so.
Okay, what's the walk today? Is it St Clair West?
No, I'm gonna make my way downtown. Might go through the Nordheimer Ravine.
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
Are you planning to do the stockyards one video?
Eventually, yeah. I did that I think in January or February. I started there and I came all the way this way.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you mean like the shopping complex?
The shopping
Oh
complex.
yeah, I haven't done that yet, but
Yeah,
it's on the
I
radar.
haven't seen that from you. Yeah.
It's kind of a weird place. It's very suburban-y, but
Suburban, yeah, but it's like
it's a strange design. But yeah, it's worth a video.
like a state like outlet mall or something.
Maybe what I'll do like a junction walk, and that'll take me up there, and then I'll do that. Like, make it a two-front. Well, good to see you.
See you. Thanks,
Cheers.
Johnny.
Take care. There's a viewer. I've seen him before. Didn't quite have his name at the tip of my tongue, but this is southbound Bathurst Street. There's a very interesting construction-like sculptor, I keep saying it wrong, just up ahead. There's a very weird apartment building, just kind of sticking out of the top of this commercial building here. But what I want to do is find a place to sit, take the sweater off, and set up the live stream and get moving. Bathurst will run south and go right alongside the west end of downtown. I don't think this stupid artwork or sculpture has benches. Anyways, there it is. Not the prettiest thing in the world. In fact, it's far from it. It's one of the ugliest things in the world. Sorry, but not sorry to the artist. But anyways, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this one. From St Clair Station at Yonge and St Clair, walking west along St Clair Avenue West over to Bathurst and St Clair. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know as well. If you wish to support the channel, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing below these videos as well. Might actually pop into that Dollarama for a second up there. Anywho, thank you for watching. And as always, I will catch you on the next one. Yoink.